Hello, everyone. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome Dr. Parasuram Balasubramanian, a visionary industry leader. Dr. Parasuram Balasubramanian is an alumnus of IIT Madras and a globally respected expert in industrial engineering and operations research. He is the CEO of Teamwork Analytics and a founding member of the governing body of Aquamap Center for Water Management and Policy at IIT Madras. Aquamap, established in 2022 with its generous seed funding, is now a pioneering center working on transformative water management solutions across India. His recent 5 crore rupees endowment to Aquamap supports its mission to deliver scalable, sustainable, and community driven water solutions, including rural wastewater management and urban water quality assurance. Dr. Balasubramaniam holds a PhD from Purdue University, where he was also honored with the Distinguished Engineering Alumnus Award from Purdue University. His career spans leadership roles in global tech firms, academic mentorship, and policy advisory, making him a powerful example of how alumni can drive societal impact through science and philanthropy. I conclude the introduction here. Thank you, Dr. Bala, for coming. But you look a bit nervous. What's up? Hope all is okay.
Do you think I look nervous?
No, not at all.
Actually, I am, to be. Why? Because I've never been in a studio ever in my life. I'm not an actor. So I was quite nervous about this. First time coming and addressing students through a studio where 500 odd students will be there. And my wife noticed it, and she's always the one that encourages me. And she said, why do you need to be nervous on this? And I said exactly the same thing, that I have never been in a studio and all that. She thought she should encourage me, and she said, anyway, go try your best. But one thing very clear, that I want you to come back saying that everything went off well. I said, what happens if everything doesn't go well? And she said, of course, you know what happens in our house. I will put the Indian curse on you. Now I was worried. I asked her, what is this Indian curse? You know the Indian curse? For 7 Janmas, I'll be your wife. It's not only this. And then I said, no, I need to escape from this, and I will try to do my best and go and, do my best. So you all have to help me. Without your help, where I will be stuck for not only 1 Janma, but 7 Janmas. Thank you. Okay, now our topic today is what are the challenges that you all will face as you move your invention from the lab to the marketplace. Before that, we need to answer a lot of other questions. First and foremost, as you graduate, let's say 3-4 years from now, maybe you do your masters and you do PhDs and you do all that. So in the span of somewhere from 3 to 10 years, you will graduate. And what do you think the job market will be at that time? What kind of jobs are going to be there in our country and anywhere else at that point of time? I think that's a very, very relevant question for every one of you. And assuming we have some kind of a decent answer to that question, then the next one we have to ask is, okay, what kind of roles will I get to play? I join a particular company, I start something, I go and be an academic, and over a period of time I need to grow, and what kind of roles would I get to play? And assuming that we know how to answer that question, then the real question that you have to ask is, what is the set of skills that I need to have over a period of time? What is that I need to pick up now in the next 3-4 years? And as time passes by, what skill sets should I be adding to myself so that I'm able to play any of those roles effectively? I believe that these are the 3 basic questions that you need to ask yourself. Where will the future jobs be? what kind of roles will I get to play, and what skill sets do I need to keep developing? If you ask those three questions, then my presumption is that the usefulness, the value that you get out of the course like this will become very apparent to you. We'll come to that a little later. Ramya introduced me as an industry guy, academician who, after getting a PhD, spent 40 plus years in the industry. And all that it helped me was to understand many, many concepts that I picked up in the university, and also subject them to the field test. As I go and meet one client after another, it became apparent to me that many of these concepts need to be tweaked, understood in a different context. And I felt that is the best way to talk about in 50 minutes today. What are those concepts that we can look at, and what is the uncommon perspective? Uncommon meaning what you don't get at the university, but you get it at the field. So since I got it at the field, I thought I will share it with you in these 50 minutes. In fact, the case study that was circulated to you contains all those concepts and principles in one place. When I had a chance to help a medical doctor, urologist, to set up a tissue engineering lab, this is what we did. And the case study is all about what we did and how we go about it. And I had a chance to present it at Purdue at the Discovery Park in Bindley Bioscience Center. I presume that all of you have gone through that case study. Is that a right presumption? How many of you have gone through that? Just raise your hands, please. Oh, that's wonderful. It's exactly like what I expected. Doesn't matter. If at the end of this session, if I motivate even 10% of you to go back and see this, read that case study, I think I've done a job. Thank you. So we will be looking at job skills and roles of the future. What could be the skill development model that we can adopt, and where are the opportunities for products and markets? How do we prioritize? Where do we get the ideas for invention, innovation, etc.? And how do we go about estimating market potential? What are the pitfalls? And generally, you heard me talk about I assume all the time. Don't you all do that? You assume something? I'm going to talk about what assume mean. How does it impact positively or negatively in what you need to do? So we're going to talk about projections and assumptions, the need for validating them, and also all the investments that you have to make have to be layered, one on top of the other, each one tied with a specific objective, and you being able to tag them over a long period of time, saying, hey, I added so much additional investment into this with this objective, how is it doing? That is what I call as cascading investments. Then we will talk about a lot of collaboration. As an entrepreneur, you're not going to do it alone. You need a lot of collaboration, and every collaboration you need some success. So what factors help you achieve success, and what else you need to add? Finally, I'm also going to talk about supply chain design and vendor management and the role of these concepts in your mission being accomplished. And last one is, you may have heard the term SWOT analysis: strength, weakness, opportunities, and threat, how useful it is. So we will cover these 10 concepts very quickly. But before that, I want to tell you the times we live in. This is the town called Oshino in Japan. It's where Fanuc, the robo manufacturing company, has its headquarters. That city has about 9,000 people, but it produces 11,000 robots every month. And inventory, they have about 4 or 5 months of inventory. So if you go into that city, little town, you'll see 9,000 people and about 63,000 robots at any given time. And this particular factory, which is 86,000 square feet, where robots are being turned around, it's completely automated. Robots are making robots. And it has only 4 people, human beings, supervising work at any given time. On shift, there'll be only 4 human beings. The rest of the work is all done by robots, supervision done by robots, and that is the state of affairs in Fanuc. And Fanuc has self-teaching robots for bin picking, which are at 90% accuracy. No need for additional coding anywhere. AI does it today. And this is the world we are going to meet. It's already there. We are going to meet. And all of this I said is about work of artificial intelligence and how it is helping to improve productivity. But you also know that autonomous vehicles are coming as a new technology. 3D printing is coming. Blockchain is coming. Each one of those technologies can shatter the earth. As they get debugged and get implemented right across, you will find that their impact will be as intense as AI is. Autonomous vehicles, once they are there, trucks will be moving all over the world on their own. You will find cars being driven on their own, robots, drones going on their own. So the kind of impact they will have on their lives is going to be as intense, as immense as AI has, 3D printing has, blockchain has. I'm sure as you study more, you will be interested in knowing in depth what these technologies are and why is Bala saying that they are going to be as powerful as AI. Now let's see how much of all of this you have already known, either through your studies or your general knowledge. We'll just go through a very quick quiz of about 6 questions now. And this is, you can scan this barcode and you will be able to respond to the 6 questions. Don't worry about whether they're right or wrong. In fact, I have structured them in such a way that there is no single right answer or wrong answer. In fact, we are going to use the feedback from you to build our presentation today. Okay. Okay, the first question is about job market in future. Please pick one choice as your best response. One of the first responses, expand for the tech wizard's role. Many of you are going to be, the world is going to need a lot more tech wizards. Or given that everybody is getting into defense investments, a lot of opportunities for defense jobs. Healthcare, you see that almost 17-18% of the world GDP today is on healthcare expenses. And healthcare expense is the only one that is growing year after year, country after country. So maybe more and more innovations will go into healthcare and jobs will be there. Or services sector, there will be growth. Okay, so I already have your answers. Majority of you are saying tech wizard's role is going to be almost 50%. We'll keep that answer with us. Second question, where would knowledge be found in future? Please pick one choice as your best response. By doing internet search, I go and keep searching internet and I will get more and more knowledge, one option. Or go and do a lot of social media analysis. That's where you get to know what people are talking, saying, feeling, etc. And I will get a lot of knowledge from that. Third would be at the intersection of interdisciplinary studies or at the intersection of business and customer domains. Okay, so again, intersection of interdisciplinary studies stands out as an answer, which is great answer in my mind, because that is the very purpose of having a session like this. Third question, how many of you have heard of the company called Dell and its innovation? What innovation did it bring to the marketplace? This is an open-ended question you can write, and we see what response we get from many of you. What was the Dell innovation? How did Dell break into the market and make a name for itself? Okay. I'm very, very happy to see that many of you are saying PC and laptop server, particularly the laptop and PC seem to be repeating many, many times. That answer is partially right. I will explain that to you as we go along. How do we overcome the limitations of assumptions? I talked about assumptions and how they can guide us, help us, or they can dig a hole for us. How do we deal with assumptions? You can say minimize as much as possible, don't make assumptions, be sensitive, or do what we call sensitivity analysis so that the implication of that assumption can be understood in many ways, or validate any assumption that you make. Okay. Okay. Many of you have said validate assumptions. We'll keep that in mind. Okay. Now, there are two matching questions. Yeah. So there are four experts named on the right hand side: Sanjay Kohli, M.S. Swaminathan, Verghese Kurian, and F.C. Kohli, and they're all considered father of something. Father of white revolution, father of mass market GPS, father of Indian IT, and father of green revolution. Can you match them, please? We have another 8 seconds. 7. Okay, you have done the matching. Your answers seem to be father of white revolution, M.S. Swaminathan, father of mass market GPS, Kohli, father of Indian IT, Verghese Kurian, father of green revolution, Sanjay Kohli. Okay, we will see how well you know these experts, stalwarts. Next question. Oh, it's not me. No, leaderboard, it's not mine. Okay, we don't need that. We'll do that later. So we have done 5 or 6 at this moment. I'll go back. Okay, so we did about 5, 6 questions and we got some answers, some of them right, some of them here or there wrong. But the relevance of those questions is what we are going to cover going forward. You will find that we deal with those people, those concepts as we go along now. We saw this first, skill set trifurcation model. This is how I see the world going forward in coming decades. If every product, whether it is hardware or software or a combination in some form or the other, we'll call them smart products and smart services. And what are we trying to do? We are going to conceive and design such products and services for the whole market, anywhere. So there will be a set of people, very small number of people, conceiving, designing such products and services for the global market. Then there is a lot of, which requires for design skills. Then there will be a lot of people who need to take those products and take it to different markets and tune it and keep it ready for relevant for that market, which means the product that has been developed as a global one has to be tweaked, adjusted, features added, some features shut down, etc. And that job has to be done by a large number of people, because this product, which was made or conceived in a small factory in one corner of the world, now has to go and meet the needs of 8 billion people. But the people who are distributing them would not be 7 billion. They'll be in some order of some hundreds of thousands or millions. All of them have to have the skill sets for tweaking them, implementation and maintenance skills. Finally, there'll be a lot of employees in those firms who are the ones selling the product to the customers, and they have to have different set of skills, and they need to know how this product can be used, train people, and even customers need continuous training because the products are going to undergo regular changes. So you will see that the skill sets are going to trifurcate in 3 different ways: design skills, implementation and maintenance skills, and deployment skills. So this is how I see the future skill sets developing in the global market. Now, in terms of jobs, if you break it out in the terms of services, manufacturing and agriculture, we will tend to think that services job will grow phenomenally. Manufacturing may not grow because of the tremendous productivity we get out of AI and everything else. The same output can be produced with smaller number of people, hence manufacturing may shrink, and so does agriculture with all the AI and other innovations, drones, other technologies, IoT, everything coming in. The number of people required in agriculture to produce the same output will go down. So we expect that going forward, the world will have same or more output, but coming from less number of people in manufacturing and agriculture, but lot more number of people in services. And we already talked about skill sets, and what roles then are we as engineers and technologists looking for? If you are a tech wizard who loves technology, any of the technologies that I talked about, or even science, physics, maths, other technology components, science components, inventions, and you want to make that your life, I'm sure there will be corporates, there will be companies that is looking out for you who as a tech wizard can guide them, help them design such products. But please remember, if you go back to the previous slide, the number of people required in the globe with such skill sets will be very small set. Or there will be a lot of people, reasonable number of people wanting to be on their own. They are enthused. They want to be entrepreneurs. They want to capture the markets, go and identify the market need, match it to the technology available at the time, and come up with a product or service. Yes, that could also be another 10-15%. But a large number of you, in my mind, will end up being intrapreneurs. Who is an intrapreneur? Intrapreneur is nothing but an entrepreneur with all the skill sets of an entrepreneur, except that he or she is assured of his firm, saying, don't worry about funds, I have the funds. Don't worry about all the lab, resources, material, I will provide that to you. All that I want from you is, with all the knowledge that you have, go help me to expand my market. Go find a new product in our category of products that will sell. So after 5 years, 10 years that you have worked in a firm, the firm is looking for you to be an intrapreneur. So we have 100 people in a class. I'm sure 5 or 6 will get to be tech wizards in the world. Another 10, 15, 20 may become entrepreneurs, but 60 to 70% of them will end up as intrapreneurs. If you don't play that role, you don't have a role in that company. So all of us will end up becoming intrapreneurs. And the good news here is the skill sets required to be an entrepreneur are almost the same as intrapreneur, because you still have to go and understand the market. You still have to come up with a product idea. You still have to assemble a team, manage the project, and deliver it as per given budget and time. So the skill sets required of an intrapreneur are very similar to that of an entrepreneur. If you accept this viewpoint, then you will see the relevance of what we are trying to do with you in this course. We are calling it innovation and entrepreneurship. innovation is a must, whether you're a tech wizard or an entrepreneur or an intrapreneur. And entrepreneurship is nothing but a superset of all the skill sets that you have to have as an intrapreneur. We talked about agriculture, and agriculture, the number of jobs shrinking. That's only with respect to the farming jobs. But if you look at the digital work that is already going on in the farming world, and digital applications using digital technology, AI added to it, which are all now being called AgriStack, and Government of India is pouring tens of thousands of crores into AgriStack in order to help farmer select inputs, monitor soil health, take the weather advisory and plan crops accordingly, pesticide control, water management, all of them are coming under AgriStack, and the country has to have a lot of help coming from technologists to enable agriculture move on to the next level of productivity. Let me also talk about Amul and the White Revolution. Now, the White Revolution in this country was started by Dr. Verghese Kurian. He actually was a physicist. First degree was in physics, second degree was in mechanical engineering, third degree was metallurgical engineering. Finally, he ended up managing dairy at Gujarat in a milk cooperative. In fact, he organized the farmers, dairy farmers, into a cooperative so that they could eliminate all the middlemen and get higher value retained for their benefit. But on top of that, he did something more. He was a tech wizard. He was challenged by international firms saying that it's only cow's milk that can be condensed. Now, Verghese Kurian, with the help of the technologists at Anand, managed to condense buffalo milk because he knew India had a lot of buffaloes and milk at that time, but it can't be widely circulated because it could not be condensed before. With the condensing of buffalo milk, he was able to compete with the Nestle's and Glaxo's and penetrate into the market in India. That is why he is called father of White Revolution. Now, I asked a question, where would knowledge be found? One thing is very clear. You all said interdisciplinary field, very true. Also, domains where different kinds of expertise exist. For a firm, customers are a different domain. Its vendors are a different domain. So, firm's knowledge, wherever it matches with the customer's expectation, you can find that some innovation will take place. This is where I have mentioned Dell. What did Dell do? Until that time, PCs were manufactured to a given specification and sold through stores. In other words, you can't walk into a store and say, oh, I need this configuration for my PC and get it from the store, because they already have a fixed configuration being sold to you. Dell caught on to it. They found that they could give you a configuration that you want, because you can convey that to them over phone or through internet, and they could produce it in the factory, except that they need 2 to 3 weeks lead time to produce that. So they asked their customers, are you willing to wait? If you are willing to wait for 2 to 3 weeks, I will take your specification and produce one that is exactly what you want. And customers were delighted. They were willing to wait. Now, Dell turned around and said, wait a minute, in order to do all that, I can't be spending my money. Will you be willing to pay in advance? So, here you see a win-win proposition emerging. Dell collected all the money upfront, and customers were willing to pay it and wait for 2 weeks and get what they wanted exactly. This is a win-win combination arising out of a firm dealing with its customers, understanding their requirements very well, and both coming to a agreeable proposition. Now, Sanjay Kohli, have you heard that name at any time? My feeling is many of you may not have. He is the father of mass market GPS. He is a technologist, again, IIT Bombay, I think. He was once driving in Tokyo and found that the GPS fitted into the cars didn't work. They were very expensive, bulky, and the signals won't pass through the tall buildings in Tokyo. So he said, why not I change this? I should come up with a GPS that is pocket size, and it should be affordable, and it should be capable of picking up signals from everywhere. So he used certain multiple parallel processing techniques and designed a chip which led to what we have as GPS today. And immediately he was able to license his technology, and 80% of the market today, or at least in the 2010 period, was his. So he's given the title of father of mass market GPS, and incidentally, he is the son of Mr. F.C. Kohli, who is the father of Indian IT, who was the head of TCS. So firms design the product with many assumptions. Marketplace is where these assumptions are validated with the product release. Firm can solve many factory and field issues of the product only by tapping the higher knowledge of the vendors. Okay, I'll skip that. Now, let's go to market potential estimation. How do we do the estimation? We look at historical growth curves, macro estimation, percentage share of what we can get out of the total that we calculate, competitors, how have they grown, do an analysis, all this. Based on that, you design your product and go into the market doing a pilot. If the pilot succeeds, then you go into penetration mode. Now, what I found is the missing piece here is the validation. The pilot, while we are doing it, you can notice that the model gets tinkered all the time. So you pilot it in a given market, but the market is tinkered, the product is tinkered. So by the time you finish the pilot and you have some results, you think you're ready to go to penetrate the market, but in reality, you're not. You have to validate the model because you have to stabilize the model now and go through another step called validation. The stabilized model has to be run through a given market, and only then you can go into the penetration mode. What is the example here? Indian Farmers Fertilizer Company, which is a UP based company, came up with what is called nano liquid urea in 2021. They did a trial in marketplace and found that it was very acceptable, but they could not go into penetration stage because Indian Council of Agricultural Research said, no, you have not done the pilot for your product across all seasons. They said India is a country where season by season demand varies, product response varies. You have done it only in certain seasons, not in all seasons. So they could not launch that product. Assumptions and assumptions. You know the Tata Nano story, correct? It was a pride for the country. Here was a very, very revered industrialist who said, I'm going to satisfy the needs of this country by producing a car with extraordinary features at $2,000 or 1 lakh rupees. And it will help many of the people who cannot afford a car now, who are only taking their families everywhere on a scooter, shift to car. And that was the noble mission with which Ratan Tata put all his might into producing Tata Nano cars, and it did not succeed in the marketplace. Why? The assumption that he had made that if the car is a very, very low priced car, a lot of people would be enthused in buying it. But in the marketing and promotion, it was always seen as the cheapest car. And believe me or not, most of the people in India did not want to buy a cheaper car, a car that is considered as the cheapest. They would rather buy a higher price car as a second-hand car, a Maruti or some other brand, which is a second-hand, but rather than go for a new car which is considered as cheapest. Because if you are seen driving the cheapest car, they think there's some prestige loss associated with it. This is one of the key reasons for Tata Nano not succeeding in the marketplace. So what am I saying? Live with us as technologists, as scientists, live with less assumptions, you will discover more options. Have less opinions about anything, that means less constraint for whatever action you want to take. Less belief, there will be more truths to discover. Less judgment about people and other activities, you will discover more friends. And have a strong value system, more nights of peaceful sleep. So minimize assumption. If you have to have some assumptions, validate assumptions and do it continuously. Validate projections. What is the best example of where projections were done but they were not validated? You all know Byju's. I have a feeling everyone here knows Byju's very well. But you may not know what Byju's investors did. Do you? One of the reasons for Byju's failure is the greed of the Byju's investors. They pushed and they pushed, and all the good results achieved by Byju's were all during the period of COVID. And during COVID period, none of us were allowed to go to a classroom, none of us were allowed to step out. So the sales figures that came out during the COVID period are not truly representative of the period after COVID. This vital fact was not correlated and understood by Byju's investors. They saw some numbers and they started projecting, and on that basis they pushed Byju's to go into 21 newer markets in a very short period of time. And when the newer investors balked, they said no. The original investors said you can borrow money. It's not equity capital, it's borrow, and put a lot of debt burden on the company, and very soon the company collapsed. I'm talking about cascading investments. This is like, as you see during the monsoon period, lot of streams coming, and ultimately they all mix and become one big river. As it becomes a river, then at that point of time, you cannot separate out into the streams and say this much water came from this stream, that came from this stream, etc. So this is exactly what happens if you don't start tracking tranche-wise, stream-wise your investments done at different points of time, and each investment has been done with a slightly different goal. Overall purpose could be same, but their investment reason for doing each of the streams could be different, and you need to keep tracking them all the way, even when they have become a mixed field of water. I have some examples for this. I'll share the slide, you can go through them. Collaboration success. Theory tells me that coordination, communication and control are the three major factors to make any collaboration succeed. What we found that above all this, you need to build trust with people with whom you are dealing. Without trust among collaborators, with team members, no venture is going to succeed. Purpose and goal alignment. Not only you have to have trust in them, the mission that you undertake, there has to be complete alignment. What you want has to be the same as what they want. And above all, knowing what we don't know. This is the most important aspect of making a collaboration succeed. If every one of you know, you all know what you know, but you have to know what you don't know. Only then you will be humble enough to go and explore what is that I don't know, what is lurking behind, can I find that out? Without that approach, no collaboration can be successful. Supply chain. And as an entrepreneur, right on the day one, you don't have to be making everything. In fact, even bigger companies, as they have grown bigger, they don't make everything. There are companies that make certain things to stock and keep it in inventory. There are some which make it to order. Only customer has to order it, then they will make it. Then there are others, they make nothing. They procure all the components and assemble and deliver it to you. And there are people like Nike who engineer. They only do the design and do everything else, give everything else to others. So the options are very many for you. You don't have to be right on day one making everything yourself. So you have to explore this option to figure out where you have a market advantage. I'm talking about Nirma here, Nirma Phase 1. Nirma was a detergent company. They took on the giants. How? Because Nirma found out that as a detergent company, they can come up with a cheaper alternative, but quality-wise the same, by doing what you call backward integration. All the components that go to make washing powder, for example, like soda ash, caustic soda, lab, all these materials, everybody else was procuring from the market. Nirma started manufacturing them, so that in the process they cut out all the middlemen, they ensured quality is assured and reduced the cost, and they captured in the first year 60% of the market. Finally, let me come to the SWOT analysis. Where have you heard this term, SWOT analysis? Have you all heard SWOT? Yes? Okay, here are my simple questions. Strength, weakness, opportunities, and threat. Should we be talking about all four of them as though they carry the same weight, equal weight? Shouldn't efforts be spent on overcoming relevant weakness? You ask me, at any point of time I have 100 weaknesses, correct? Should I be spending my time addressing all my weaknesses, or if I have taken up a mission, what is considered as a weakness for that mission, I should address it. Nothing else. The rest I can ignore, I can forget. And even that weakness I can address not by trying to correct myself, improve. If you have that as a strength, I can partner with you. As long as we align in our purpose and mission, you and I can become partners, because I bring certain strengths to the field and you bring another set of expertise. We partner and we launch quickly, correct? So when you do this SWOT analysis, don't do it as though every one of them have to be addressed immediately. Need not be. Try to build on your strength and try to build everything based on your strength. That is my advice to you. And I have given the example of TCS, which faced the Burroughs market threat. TCS, as you know, is the largest IT services company in this country, probably second or third most in the world. And in the 1980s, 70s and 80s, they were helping Indian companies import Burroughs machines and providing services. But at that time, the House of Tatas decided to form a collaboration with Burroughs directly and bring Burroughs machines into the country. So they formed a new company called Tata Burroughs. TCS saw that 80% of its market was being pulled out from them, going to Tata Burroughs. What will the company do? If you are a smart company, you should know what your strengths are. Everybody was saying its weakness is, it was dependent on one customer, Burroughs customers, and they will go away. They saw the opposite. If people are buying Burroughs machines, yes, they will switch. But there are, in the world market, there are enough number of people buying IBM machines, NCR machines, other machines, right? And they also need conversion services. Some of them may be originally having Burroughs machines and now they are buying IBM machine. If the COBOL programs written for Burroughs are only slightly different from COBOL programs meant for IBM machines. They understood that, and very quickly they trained their thousands of staff on COBOL programs for IBM machines, NCR machines, Wang machines, every other machine, so that wherever conversion jobs were taking place, they could go and say, yeah, we know this machine far better, and we have worked in Burroughs machines for the last 5-6 years, so we know both. So this is the advantage of using SWOT analysis in the right way. Now, I talked about a lot of concepts here. I have more quiz, but I thought I will skip them for the benefit of time. Break-even analysis. Have you heard that term? Yes, some of you. Time value of money. Many of you, I'm sure, have heard. Money value of time. Time value of money is important. Money value of time is even more important for every one of you. Your time is more precious because the more skills you add, more capabilities you have, it acquires a tremendous value. So every hour of your time, that's what I call money value of your time, goes up. So, and your time is limited, precious. You can't expand it. All of us have been given only certain number of days, months, years. So money value of time concept is equally important as time value of money. Then marginal cost benefit analysis, the cascading that I talked about. You need to learn that. So these are the concepts that I'm saying you should be familiar with. Break-even analysis, fixed variable and marginal costing, marginal cost benefit analysis, return on investment, cost of capital, potential estimation and sensitivity analysis, constraint optimization, SWOT analysis, Porter's competitive models, supply chain management and vendor analysis, time value of money and money value of time. If you study and understand all of these concepts, you will find this course becomes exceptionally valuable for you. This is the foundation. You know how to understand everything that we are talking about in terms of course, there is another major component that is coming as it is. Where do you get the motivation to go after inventions? Where do you find the spark? How do you nurture it, etc. All of that Professor Pradeep and the team are guiding you. I'm giving you another dimension. In the course, if you learn these basics and add it to your repertoire of skills, you will find that tomorrow, whether the job requires you to be a tech wizard or an entrepreneur or an intrapreneur, you will be very well prepared. Thank you. I'm done. So, am I still nervous? Okay, I leave it to Ramya. Any questions?
Yeah, students, if you have any questions, please raise your hand. I'll come to you.
Sir, I read from your LinkedIn profile that you was the senior vice president of Infosys at 1999. So at that time there was a Y2K. So could you share your experience about that?
Wonderful, wonderful question. I joined in 1995, and by 96 it was very evident that the Y2K problem is going to be a humongous problem all over the world. You know, the nature of that problem is fairly simple. Till that time, we were representing year as a 2 digits in every program that we wrote. If it was, let's say, 1983, it will be shown as only 83 in the program. What is stored inside the program is only 83. If it was 1945, only 45 is stored because the 19 is implied everywhere. But after 1999, when 2000 comes, let's say 2022 comes, if you put 22, the program will assume that it is 1922 and not 2022. So until year 2000, the 2 digits representation of a year was fine, but after that it has to be changed to 4 digits, which to our horror we found that almost millions of lines of COBOL code had to be changed all over the world. Every company was sitting on lines and lines and lines of code which had to be gone through, scrutinized and changed. So we found that opportunity, and every one of the Indian firms jumped into that, because now we were, instead of we going after clients and trying to convince them, give me a project, they were all rushing to us and saying, please correct my code. The good thing that companies like Infosys did was, they said, fine, we will take this opportunity, but we can't take all of them. Because if, let's say at that time we had about 20,000 employees, I can employ all my 20,000 people in correcting this code till year 2000 is born. But within 6 months after that code is corrected, what will I do with my 20,000 employees? So companies, wise enough to understand the situation, limited the number of jobs they took on Y2K. For example, at Infosys, we said only 25% of our people would be deployed in Y2K work. Remaining 75 will be used in other projects. And that is how we came out of Y2K. Meanwhile, we had a set of customers who were happy with the Y2K work that we did, and newer projects they started giving to us because they saw good work being done on Y2K. And so companies that played a strategy well during the Y2K period survived, succeeded, and did well. Those who went all out on Y2K projects found it very, very difficult to live beyond that period. Yes.
Explained about in the SWOT analysis that we have to focus about one thing that is more important to it. So if I focus about more on threats, that what's the threats going on and what's the threats I will face while implementing that project, then it will be very difficult for me to start the project because it will not create a positive vibe to start from it.
Can you help me with the question?
Should I?
Yeah, please explain. I didn't understand the question.
While explaining the SWOT analysis,
The SWOT analysis, should you go on focusing on the threats so that the opportunities will be lost?
Is that the question? Excellent question. Yes. No, this is why I said you study, you understand what the opportunities and threat are, but if you're a smart person, you will know how to sidestep the threats. You should move away from it and go and grab the opportunities and shift your focus from a particular market, particular product which will face this threat to away from it. So in the SWOT analysis, strengths and weaknesses are specific to the individual. Opportunities and threat are specific to the marketplace. So you should know how to combine the two.
Dr. Bala,
Yes.
this is Krishnan here. Can I just add one point?
Yes, Krishnan, please.
Yeah. No, so I think this is a very good question. I would suggest, I would encourage you to look at these two techniques, which I have found very helpful. So when you are developing a project, one approach is to create a press release. Okay, so that means even before you have started, you are thinking about what the positive outcomes are. And you prepare a potential press release and you know what kind of outcomes you want to build. So that is looking at the positive side. At the same time, you should also do what is called pre-term analysis. Now, that is pre-mortem analysis, not post-mortem. So pre-mortem analysis is you assume that the project has failed. And now you are creating a pre-mortem report where you are visualizing before the project starts. Oh, this is how 2 years we implemented, but we never took care of this particular target segment. And that is why the project. So the pre-mortem is also a very interesting way. So you look at both positive and negative, as you start the project. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Very, very valuable addition, Krishnan. You can add it to the set of skills that I have identified. By no means they are exhaustive. You can add more, but these are essential in my mind. I'm sure there are a little more that can be added. Any other question?
Yes, sir. We have Dr. Rakesh asking, what is the Porter's competitive model? Can you explain with an example, sir?
It will take at least 15-20 minutes to explain Porter's model. So I would urge you to go, and it's not difficult to pick up from any textbook. Kindly go ahead and see. But essentially, Porter is saying that it's a different version of the SWOT analysis. He's saying, putting a lot of emphasis on how technology can pull the rug underneath. You have an ongoing project doing product which is doing very well in the marketplace, and suddenly somebody comes with another technology and which totally erases your market. That is a competitor's threat. So there are threats of that kind which are real. So Porter's framework helps you to identify what else can happen which unexpectedly can take away the market share that you have. In brief, that is what the Porter's framework is. I will urge you to please go through. And none of these concepts are rocket science. From basic textbooks, you can pick them up. It's only the nuances. For example, this break-even analysis. The concept is fairly simple, but if you want to become an expert in what happens if the cost curves are very different from linear or stepwise linear, etc., in reality, many times that happens. Similarly, the revenue curves can be non-linear. Can revenue curve be convex, concave? So that kind of a sophisticated analysis when you want to do, you need to have somebody holding your hands. Otherwise, basic concepts can be easily picked up by yourself.
The only message that I wanted to say was that you are seeing a person who has seen what has happened in industries across the world. And these are people who are available to you all the time. If you face a challenge, they are available to you free. It's very difficult, right? Free. So use that opportunity in the system. This is one person. Through him, there are many others as well. They're all eager to help. So that's message number one. The message number two is that there are a number of examples. He touched upon a few examples. The power of these examples will be clear to you as you approach real problems. And that's the time, if you can recall those examples, it will add tremendous value to you. That's all that I would say now.
Thank you, Professor. In fact, I took up a challenge right in the beginning that I will motivate you to go back and read the case study. I talked about 10 or 12 concepts. Every one of them has been embedded into that one case study. If you go and read it with the eye, where is this concept, break-even analysis, where is time value of money, where are assumptions made and how are they being validated, what is the potential projected, how is it validated, what is the supply chain that is being designed here. Every one of the concepts that we discussed here, all of them have been put together in one case study. That is the one that was given to you. So if I find at least some of you interested in going and reading it and picking what concept has been used where, I think that would be wonderful. Thank you. And the last point I want to say is I did use the names of some companies. Perhaps in some of them I pulled out what went wrong. By no stretch of imagination, it is a criticism of the company. It is not. In fact, each and every one of those companies was a star at one particular point of time. It is changing circumstances, changing marketplace, something else happened to pull down that company for that moment. And this happens to almost all the companies if they are not watchful. So don't extrapolate what I said to assign any or assume that these are companies that were run badly. That is not the case.
And Mr. Raju is asking, is entrepreneur the one with skill set of an intrapreneur, the one with the skill set of an entrepreneur working in an organization? I guess that's yes.
Intrapreneur?
The one with skill sets of an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Working in an organization.
Correct. That's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah. Very large companies have enormous amount of profit generated. They have cash in hand, and unless they deploy that cash profitably as they have done in the past, there is no future for them. And this is a great challenge for very, very successful companies, which means they have the money, but they are short of ideas which will help them grow in their current market or new market, etc. So as you show your entrepreneurial skills, it is quite likely that a company with very large funds and in multiple businesses may spin off this next one as a separate line of business and ask you to lead. And at some point of time, then it becomes an independent company where from no longer you're an entrepreneur, you have grown to be an entrepreneur. That can also happen.
So that's all we have.
Thank you, Dr. Bala, for sparing your time in one full day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor. And I don't know how many of you have known, Professor has been given Indian government recognition, one of the very few who has been given in the last 3 days. So you are all very fortunate to have him lead this course for you. Thank you.